and the professor like literally walked through the whole.
So, I think of actually just give me two because she doesn't. Yeah.
Protection.
No, but it starts with an R, so that's a hint I'll give. Transport. Remember she was talking about the thing that sits on top of the hormone and it. and the
Receptor?
Yeah, there you go. So TR. Remember, two functions, transfer and receptor. The book says catalysis, but she can get to that, so for that.
She just mentioned it once.
Yeah, like one more. It's okay.
It's like the process or whatever.
Oh, it's a live stream. I'm gonna let you record. Thank you. Hey, no, I'm kidding. You're the best. Okay. Difference between so passive goes from low to high or high to low concentration gradient. And I will go
High to
we'll
low.
take turns. Okay. And then you don't get to answer next time. And then she has it. And then she gets to answer, and then Danny, and then April. Okay. And then active transport, Danny goes from low to high. What? Say it.
Concentration?
Yeah, or the the molecules can flow from high
Low
to
to
low.
low.
Low to what?
Low to high.
Oh,
One of those three.
He's a little high.
low to high, right? And so which one, April needs energy, passive or active?
Active.
I like it. And then, Kyle,
Okay, Steph.
okay, does, wait, don't move. And then the passive goes with the same concentration gradient or against the concentration gradient?
The same.
Right. And then Nelly, and then passive or active goes with same or against?
Yes,
Okay, for which one?
for active.
Okay, cool. Oh, you guys are nice. And then,
Let's ask you some questions. How about
I
that?
know. Okay,
You're just
fine.
covering it. Oh yeah, that's where it is.
That makes me seem less evil. Okay, Stephanie. So now tell me. Steroids are associated with what? Cholesterol.
Good job.
And then things.
And
And then
rings.
that's it.
And rings.
Wait, did I have any questions here? Oh yeah, I forgot. Okay. All right. So Danny, don't look backwards, and tell me when it comes to passive transport. Right? I said don't look backwards. Tell me. Tell me what molecules can pass for simple diffusion.
Oh, CO2, N2, and O2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet. And April, hey, what's up? We're just reviewing this from
Okay.
last time, yeah. And then we'll jump onto that next. And then large molecules can pass through which?
Sodium, potassium.
Oh no, sorry. Large my question is, can large molecules pass in simple diffusion? Are you got Kristen?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. And so, what kinds of molecules can pass through facilitated diffusion, Kyle?
What? I'm not even paying.
I know.
It's too hard to
No,
do
no,
both.
Sodium, potassium.
To do both?
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm good.
no.
No, I got it. Just keep doing your thing.
Okay.
I'll be fine.
Okay, thanks. I'll pay you $49.95.
No, just post it.
Okay, yeah.
I know it. I'm just not able to like comprehend what's going on
Oh,
at the
that's true.
same time.
Because you're like,
I'm just gonna listen.
okay, we'll have
Sodium,
a
potassium.
recording fund for you later.
You know, it's fine.
Tell me, Nelly, what is the process of passively moving molecules with a carrier protein called? What's that called? It's okay. Starts with an F.
Are you talking?
Yeah. The
Facilitated
process
diffusion?
of passively moving molecules with a carrier protein. She mentioned it today. Yes. For 2 seconds.
Yeah,
She went quick, but it'll be a question I can tell because she's
definitely.
in my mind. That's how I felt.
She yelled it.
What else?
Facility.
Okay, that's it. So
Da-da-da.
let's. I don't know over here.
Oh,
Are we gonna keep going?
Oh yeah, we're gonna keep going. Okay, so this is a quick review from the last lecture. So, and then I'm gonna try to put more of the homework questions so that I'm not just pulling straight from the lecture, I'm also pulling for the homework so this is not a complete waste of time. So it can help a little bit. So some of the questions I also pulled for the homework and mixed in. and from the lecture, so. Cause I love you guys. Alright, so we'll do some fill in the blank, sorry. Okay, glycolipids that contain more than 3 lipids are also called what? Glycolipids that contain more than 3 lipids.
Are you talking about triglycerol or triglycerides? Which, no? No, glycolipids that contain more than 3 lipids.
More than 3. Oh,
I should also probably put the fact that,
I don't know.
focus on the fact that it says glyco. So glyco is sugar, right?
Yeah.
So glycolipids that contain more than 3 lipids are called.
triglycerides?
No, I thought so too.
No, I'll have to like see some
This
example.
one- this
I have to
one
see
is
some
a
example
trick.
answers.
This one is a trick, they're gangliosides.
Oh my God,
Okay,
I just
yeah.
put that in
Remember,
there,
because
too.
that one is toughy, because we
Yeah.
already talked about phospholipids, triglycerides.
If I saw choices, I would
glycolipid-
probably
Yeah, you'd be like.
probably get it.
Glyco, yeah. So that one's a tricky one.
Did anybody do the ganglioside
I
Alzheimer's?
didn't, did you?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. She's
I
probably
just-
gonna be excited, because I was like, I didn't make it 3, she's like,
Is it good?
oh.
I know, I told her, she
Cool
was like,
stuff.
oh, good. It was hard to understand, so I feel like if I could have bounced it off of somebody
Mm-hmm.
more, I would have gotten more out of it. But
Oh,
yeah, it was
yeah,
cool.
I think.
It was interesting, because now I'm just curious as far as knowing that, how can you change
Fix it.
Yeah,
How you can
prevent
change
it
it.
or something, because it talks about the lipids, so it's like, if you eat more fats, is that good, or if you
Right.
eat less, is that bad?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
you know.
And there's actually some studies coming out on autophagy and fasting,
Yeah.
but it's,
That's my shit.
that's your shit.
That's the best
Okay,
thing.
intermittent.
Yeah,
meat-
just any kind of,
fasting?
yeah, like it
Is that
just,
what you
Because it
do?
breaks down
yeah,
the-
because it breaks down other like toxins and just like all these benefits that people don't,
But there's so little research on it.
right.
Right,
Plus,
because it's like a newer
pharmaceutical
thing.
companies can make money off of you.
But there are also a lot of cultures that are like
True.
in the blue zones that all do fasting, and it all is like kind of like related. So that's why I want to do like if I do a thesis at State, it'll be on like longevity and health with
Are you
fasting.
serious?
Yeah.
That's what's up.
That'd
And
be
they'll probably
cool.
fund it quick.
That's the
because-
research that I want to like check
The
out.
thing
I
that
think
got
I'm
me on that was that like the way I listened to a podcast and they related it to like you need any kind of machinery, right, needs a break
Correct,
in order for
exactly.
it to work, function well.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that makes
Yeah.
sense. But I still feel like you need to eat when you're hungry, but your body adjusts to.
You
to
can,
that. So
yeah.
It's like
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, I do like a like I do whatever. But.
I'm done. Okay, next question. A group of, everyone should be able to get this one. But I'm gonna pick on Kristen. Okay. A group of lipids having, that have fused rings, 3, what'd you say? I'm getting the question. No, you're right. Okay, but I'll read through it.
Finish finish it.
So a group of lipids which have fused rings, which are 3 6-member rings and 1 5-membered ring. I wasn't saying 3-6 Mafia, even though they're really awesome. And those are steroids. So
Steroids.
if that comes up, you know. Who haven't I picked on? I'm gonna pick on April. Give me.
So from a study group to like demanding questions and answers. What's happening?
Okay, fine. I'll drop picking on people. I'm sorry.
I'm just playing.
Okay, fine. Okay, so someone give me give me 2 functions of, and you can actually look at this hint. Give me 2 functions of steroids, and this one is specific from the lecture and also pertains to the homework. So, and I smushed them. So, somebody give me one, and you can look at the hint.
Functions.
I have not reviewed.
It's okay.
Maintains.
It's a membrane what?
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so one.
What's that say?
Yeah.
The
Prevents
next one prevents.
something.
Remember when we talked about the cholesterols? Remember how we talked about that?
Prevents the phospholipids
Oh,
from forming
Micelles. Yeah,
Micelles,
micelles.
Remember that? So otherwise, here's my gorgeous phospholipid bilayer that
It's like a coffee bean.
And so, what'd you say?
Yeah.
It's like coffee beans.
Shut up!
There's nothing wrong with it.
My integral
Coffee's
coffee
awesome.
beans and my peripheral coffee beans. No. But yeah, basically cholesterol maintains this. It's like, please stay in this format. And so just remember that when it comes to steroids, the main meat and potatoes is that it maintains fluidity and prevents missile.
So steroids are doing that?
Right.
because of the attraction, right? The polar or the non-polar.
And that has to do with cholesterol, right?
Exactly, yes, yes, and
It's
so
like the-
as long as you have steroids, you have cholesterol.
I
make sure
had,
they're
for some reason, I
all-
thought cholesterol was the one that prevented the missiles from forming.
No, that's right.
That's right. That's right. There's
Right.
two different things she's talking about. That's the second one. The first one is maintains the membrane fluidity, right?
Okay.
And so just to go back to your point, that's a good point. The fact of the matter is, steroids are a cholesterol. So
Oh,
there's so
steroids
many
are
different kind of steroids. You got to hit out.
Yeah.
Bye, bro.
Later.
Sayonara. Have a beautiful weekend.
Go to work now.
I know.
Okay, see ya.
Well, this will be posted.
gonna be worth it.
Later. And hopefully,
Don't
y'all
worry.
see my body like on the ground.
Are you guys gonna study this weekend?
If you want to, just let me know. I'm down.
No.
Hashtag no more.
I think I'm going to Chick-fil-A now.
Are you?
Thanks.
I just got iced tea.
Oh,
Chicken.
it makes me want to get some.
Try the breakfast
Yeah.
sandwiches.
A good iced tea.
Um,
Okay, see ya.
See you, girl.
Bye.
So that whole point of steroids, remember that steroids, a type of steroid is cholesterol. And this actually falls, this next thing is gonna fall into a homework question, okay? What's the difference between HDL and LDL? And I'll say I'll really surface with that. Which one, let me ask you, which one is the one that is associated with being good level, like having good levels of,
HDL.
there you go,
Yeah.
of course,
High density, low density.
of course. So high density.
So high density grabs the others and clears the pathway or whatever, right?
Oh, that's what's up.
Oh, or we're just doing that, okay.
Well, yeah, as long as you know that
Okay, Ray Man.
HDL, is the good one and, and LDL is the good
Sorry.
one, or the bad one. And the way I remember this is H is for healthy cholesterol.
Oh, that's smart.
Thanks.
Oh, that's much better. Much better.
You know, you guys know I have my little tricks. Some of them get dirty, I apologize. Okay, what's next? Okay, the polar heads.
Wait, but we didn't actually say what the difference was, what, right? Did we just say
No,
high?
I was keeping it real surface
Okay.
level, cause I don't know how she's.
Yeah, she
doing
hasn't
that.
even gone over it
Yeah,
yet.
so I was gonna wait before I go crazy and give you all these like facts, and then it's like, I
Yeah.
found the test. Why did I not found? So, but
Good and bad.
okay, so polar heads, right? And when I talk about polar heads, right? These are my polar heads. You guys all agree?
Sure.
Okay, so these are my polar heads. The polar heads are in contact with what? Is it in contact with the inside or the outside
Of the what?
of the
Like the
cell?
water?
Of the cell.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
outside.
So if you think of the cell, like she said, and
The
like
ma-
you said, the water, right? The aqueous is all here,
Yeah.
right? And then this really is gonna be a circle, right? This whole thing is really gonna.
Oh, if it was a cell, yeah.
And so the polar heads is gonna be, and so it's funny when you look at it, you can tell right away that this is the circle, this is the polar head, this is really like a COOH, right? And so remember, this is gonna be in contact with the aqueous solution or the water.
Right.
So, but if you see it in writing, right, the way that she could, not trick you, she's not gonna trick you, but the way that you wanna make sure and remember when you see it in writing is the polar heads with the water, okay?
Right.
So then, what about the non-polar? Where is
Yeah,
it?
those are the inside.
Yep, in the inside.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I don't really have a funny thing for
And
that.
she,
No.
So, what's up?
she said this was not in class, but she said the non-polar tails, like on the inside, will block polar molecules from coming in.
Oh, thank you. Could you say that again?
Yeah, so she said cause this was like as far as like the role of phospholipids,
Right,
That
right,
was
right.
on the assignment.
Because phospholipids are associated with membranes. Mhm.
And the bilayer, yeah.
Right,
So she said the non-polar tails
Non-polar tails.
that are on the inside there will block the polar molecules from coming.
Ah,
through-
right, like
through the
sugars
cell.
or something
Yeah,
like that.
like
Oh, that's what's up. That makes sense.
Right,
It's
yeah.
Because it gets close.
like a defensive end on the Minnesota team. No.
Like a football.
Wisconsin, jeez. All right. What is the major
Driving.
driving force? Thank you for being able to read this. What is your driving force formation? And this is
For
a
li-
statement that I definitely could see being on the test, so let's logic this one out instead of looking. The major driving force for lipid formation, why do lipids happen? Why do fatty acids?
Then there's like a stronger attraction, right, between the
Exactly.
nonpolar and then
And
like,
if they're saturated, or if they're unsaturated,
it controls that.
that's a factor too, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, like you said, it's van der Waals forces. The word that you can swap for van der Waals is non-covalent, okay? So you can associate non-covalent with, van der Waals forces in terms of the driving force for lipid formation. This is in your lecture, and then this is also a homework question, and so,
Yeah.
got you.
Chances are.
Yeah. So chances are it could be a quiz question, but I don't know. Okay, let's talk fluid mosaic model. No?
Don't know if I
Okay,
know
don't
that.
get scared by that word, right? Okay? Fluidity, all it means, right? This is my cell. Not my cell, but this is my cell, right? Okay? So if you think about the surface of the cell, right? Pretend this is your cell swimming around your body, it's doing its thing. Okay, we think of this, right? This is my cell, and then this is my bilayer. So inside, and then there's the outside, and this is just floating on the top. The fluid mosaic model, don't get scared by that. All it says is the fluid basically means that it's dynamic, like it's not just like in one spot. It's basically floating on the proteins are floating on the surface of the cell. So it's not just like in one spot, which I used to think.
rigid, yeah.
Yeah, it's not rigid, it's not just like, I'm right here and I'll never move. It's like constantly moving around and
Yeah.
flowing.
So you would think like in solution or in like
Yeah.
water, that would make sense.
Yeah,
It had
but when-
fluidity.
I mean, I agree with you, it's just like when you look at it in your book, it's just like right there, and so it
Yeah.
looks like it's not moving or anything like that. And then the mosaic just means like side by side, and then the model just means this is the accepted way that scientists, this is like the best accepted version of living its best life, the cell living its best life.
So fluid mosaic model is the,
Just the name of this whole thing.
okay.
That's it. So just in case you guys see it. And then I think this comes up in the homework too. Okay, so peripheral proteins can be,
On the surface.
yes.
I just know peripheral, outside, surface.
Okay, so if
Right.
it's peripheral and it's outside, right?
yep.
So then what's gonna happen when you have something on the outside, like a hormone coming to bind with it? What can it be then? Starts with an R.
Receptor.
There you go.
Which one?
So your peripheral proteins, these peripheral proteins, they
Okay.
can also be receptors.
Receptors, yeah.
Okay, so remember that because that's a.
They're like flags or thing.
Oh, yeah, so.
Was that what she was talking
that's coming
about?
up. That's the glycolipids.
Oh, that's the glycolipid. Okay.
Yeah, the glycolipids are like your flags. They're like, hello.
Okay, so okay.
I imagine if they had a voice. So your
Got it.
glycolipids are on the outside, and I can even pull up the book real quick. But those are the ones that are the flags that are basically saying I have a sugar on the outside.
So peripheral is for
Receptors.
receptors.
So just think, I'm receiving on the peripheral end, like I'm gonna receive something on the very far end. 'Cause peripheral means like, if this is the table, then this is the peripheral end.
So the
Area
flag,
around.
so the glycolipid, is it like it attracts that and then it hits the peripheral after? Does that make sense, or is that
I- you
two
can-
separate things? I
Oh,
think.
I guess you could say it like that. I would say it like it's more of like a marker.
Yeah.
It's just basically a marker saying that like, if you were like, for example, if you wanted to identify what type of like cell it is, you can tell by the flag or that glycolipid that
Right.
this is the type of cell membrane that's got sugars on the outside.
Okay. Okay.
that's
So yeah, so it's like that leads it to the other, basically.
Yeah, yeah,
right? You know what I
definitely.
mean? Okay.
Yeah, definitely. I'm down with that. I like that. I'm gonna get rid of this because we already agreed that she only focused on 2, so just ignore that. And only 3 more questions, I promise. And then, glycolipids, right? Glucose
Chain on.
chain is on the, I already wrote it there. So the glucose chain is on the, when we're talking about, remember we were talking about the gangliosides? So remember, gangliosides are glycolipids that contain 3 or more lipids, right? And so glycolipids are the glucose chain, remember glucose chain is on the what?
The polar head?
It's on the lipid. So,
Fat?
yeah, it's on the fatty acid. So remember this is the fatty acid right there?
Oh, like where it's
in-
at on the membrane, it's tucked in there.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly. So remember that. This is literally just like looking at the picture, and if she asks you a question
Yeah.
like, where is the chair in the room?
Yeah.
Where is the door in the room? Where is the tables in the room? This is literally all we're doing.
Yeah,
All
it'll-
we're doing is identification.
It'll probably be like a picture with A,
Right.
B, and C and lines drawn, and you'll
Right.
have to say that's peripheral, that's glyco, and what's the other one down there?
Precisely. This one right here, if you see little tiny yellow balls within the phospholipid
Uh-huh.
bilayer, those are gonna be your phosphates. Or wait, what is it called? Phospholipids.
Phospholipids.
Yeah, sorry, phospholipids. Because you got glycolipids, phospholipids,
I know.
and you got channel proteins, and then you got like the bilayer.
There's like 3 different ones.
Yeah, so
Channel.
The more we go over it, the more comfy it'll be. It'll be like identifying IKEA. What's up?
Where are the peripheral proteins on that cell?
Where's the peripheral?
Yeah, you see that.
On the periphery.
The
I
beans.
got you. Yeah. So these are.
Okay, those
so
are the-
these are actually.
And that's
so-
what you said are constantly moving.
Yeah, on the outside, they're constantly they like to use the expression they're dynamic
Yeah.
because they're constantly moving. on
And
the
that's what
outside.
technically allows stuff to go inside the
Yes.
protein? Okay, yeah.
That's what allowed, sodium, potassium, different ions
To
to
come
pass
in and
through into the cell. So you can get nutrients, so you can go to work. Okay, true or false? Membranes, you gotta have fun with this. Membranes, true or false? Membranes have both lipid and protein components.
And protein, true.
And what do you say? You said true, and what do you say? And what do you say? Ask the question again? Okay, I'll say it again. True or false? Membranes have both lipid and protein components. True? You got all the A's.
Is it true?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mommies. Sorry. Let's make sure to ask Kristen that when she comes back.
Membrane.
What else? Membrane role. Okay, so we're gonna go through this one more time so that we know what comfortably. I'm gonna ask. Okay, so how does transport occur? What are the 2 ways that it can occur?
Passive.
And what?
Active.
There you go. And so when it comes to passive, right? Passive is low to high or high to low.
High to low.
Love it. And so when you talk about high to low, then you have diffusion that can occur in passive. And what kinds of diffusion can occur in passive? We're talking about passive.
Facilitated
Right.
and
And what? It's not difficult. It's not difficult. It's not hard. It's
simple. Yeah. I was thinking like easy, like that's not right.
easy diffusion. I love it. So passive, we associate with high to low, and then we know from there that it can be passive or facilitated.
True.
You guys like that? I made a little thingy. This is because this is what my brain does. It's like, yeah, we make it into pretty pictures so it's not so painful.
So you can memorize
Okay,
it.
brain, chill out. I'm gonna hook you up. And then small or large molecules can go through.
Small.
Okay.
And
Jeez.
they can be polar.
What?
And they can be polar.
Can't or can?
Can.
That's right.
Can't.
Can't.
Can't. With an extra T and K.
That's it?
That's it.
That's it?
Wait.
Oh, active.
Let's just do this. Active is low to high or high to low?
Huh?
Attack. No,
Don't-
look at-
Don't beat me up. Load high.
Love it. I like it. Yeah, that's it. So this was a very simplified version of the lecture, the homework. Oh, thank you so much for tuning in. If you learned anything, like, subscribe, share. Please pay my tuition. Just like, thanks.
How do you?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. Wow, that was great.
Actually, I found it a little harder like that than she wrote it right there. I didn't-
What, this is harder?
No. I thought this was a little harder than that one.
No, it's because you've seen it twice.
Yeah.
Because if you see, and then by the end of the semester, it'll be so easy. You'll be like, Stephanie, shut up. I already know this. So, okay. No, honestly, but yeah, I'll try and make it simplified.